here in the IFSEC International 2014 studio. I'm delighted to be joined by Zia Ullah and Neil Blundell from Eversheds. Afternoon, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Afternoon.
Very well, thank you.
So tell me what you guys from Eversheds are doing here at IFSEC 2014.
Okay, well, we're both partners in the Fraud and Investigations group at Eversheds, so we help clients generally deal with the issues that surface around criminality, both in terms of external criminality, so that affects them from crime gangs, but also internal as well, and the technology and the way it can be used to help them to bring cases against the perpetrators.
And you are doing a talk, a seminar later on today. Tell me what that's about.
Well, we're focusing on the National Crime Agency that was brought into effect last year. Really, operationally, how that's the strategy that the Home Office have implemented from a serious crime perspective, how that agency is going to be utilised to bring that forward, how successful its predecessor was or was not, and what the key challenges are going to be for it in the future.
Now, I guess we're talking a lot about technology, and there's been a lot of high-profile cases, certainly around fraudulent activities online. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of physical security stuff happening here at IFSEC 2014. With the emergence of internet technologies and everything being online and smarter homes, smarter cities and stuff, there's a real melding of the two, isn't there? You know, physical security and online security. There
is indeed, and of course, the National Crime Agency has been set up to look at cybercrime and look at the way in which technology is being used by criminals to infiltrate organisations and to steal.
Now there's a big data and analytics stuff here, and again we've got CCTVs all over the place here at the show and other sensors which are monitoring things in real time, but contributing data to big databases, I guess. So what sort of insights will the National Crime Agency and other bodies, individual companies also, be able to mine from that data?
Well, ultimately, I think the future is going to be about predictive technology and predictive behaviours, behaviour mapping. And so actually it's going to be very critical to have a clear line between the physical gathering of data, tracking that, and then trying to decipher behavioural patterns to ultimately protect yourself from front end and back end. And that's going to have a lot of consequences for the security industry, but also for government.
I was going to say, I mean, it's a pattern we see quite a lot where the technology races ahead like a Mad March hare, and we've got the legislation kind of crawling along in the back like a tortoise. That's where you guys come in terms of advising on some of this policy stuff to companies and the government, I suppose.
It is indeed, and as lawyers, we are often instructed by our clients to advise them how they can use technology to bring those that act against them criminally to book. And of course, we mustn't forget that the court system is generally a long way behind technology, and so they're very sceptical sometimes about the admissibility of some of these things. So we also advise clients on how they can set up policies and programs with employees to make their employees aware of the sort of technology risk if you commit crime.
It's interesting you talk about employees because there's a kind of ethical and moral angle on this as well, about how much we are allowed to be tracked, how much we want to be tracked.
Definitely, and the whole question about CCTV information and data and image retention was one that was we've been having for a number of years now, and I think looking to the future and this future mapping we're talking about, it's going to be critical that the government and the National Crime Agency in implementing strategy think about just exactly what that's going to mean for companies in particular and what they're going to have to do from a policy, as Neil said, policies and procedures perspective to ensure they're complying with any law that's brought in as a result.
Terrific. Finally, when is your seminar taking place? Where can we find out more?
It's taking place at 2 o'clock today at Centre Stage.
Brilliant. Zia and Neil from Eversheds, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.